Green Bay is a small town, only 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people may be different in many ways, but there's one thing that brings them all together. The Green Bay Packers. In Titletown, the blue-collar city only knows hard work, tailgating, championships, but more importantly, they know family.
We have a saying in this town: faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers are all that you need. Sanjay and I grew up in Green Bay. You could say that we are Green Bay, or even better, the voices of Green Bay. We bring a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience.
Friendship, family, and football.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is the Freezer Podcast. We are back. This is the Freezer Podcast, where we bring you a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience. I am Sanjay, and alongside me, like always, is that guy.
Nope.
I'll never get it down. Fred Thurston, Bloodline. We don't have Matt today because he's going and buying himself a big rig. He's getting a vehicle right now at the dealership. So he is just going to leave it to us because we had a show, just me and him. Now I get to have me and Fred. So this is actually pretty cool. I get to have a little best of both worlds. You know, you were sick last week and you were just, doing all the puppeteering and stuff. But now I get you all to myself.
Yeah, that's serious.
Hey, at least now I don't have to worry about you always just looking at Matt when you talk. Hey, how's it going over there? Hey, Sanjay's over here. All right. Sanjay's right here. You don't have to worry about anything. We are back.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Matt and his priorities. And why do you think that good vehicle is more important than no?
So we're having little technical difficulties with Fred's mic. But don't worry. Do not worry. Your boy's right here. He's got you. We can hear you, Fred.
Yeah.
We can definitely, but it's a little choppy. But it's okay. We have a lot to talk about today, and don't worry. This is going to be a very, because it's that weird moment where it's like, the Packers don't really have a lot going on. I mean, it's training camp. It's things happening. People are, meeting expectations. Some are going over expectations. Some are just like, what the hell is going on? And people are always kind of like freaking out a little bit, kind of wondering, oh my God, are we going to go 0-16? Okay, no one's probably thinking that, but some might. And, I think it's one of those things with the 2 weeks before a game where you're like, God dang, because usually you have a preseason game where you can be like, all right, let's watch these young players. You can see who's going to be developing, who's going to make the roster, who's not going to get cut, who will get cut. And there's always these position battles. But now you don't really have that because you can't really know what's going on. The reporters can't report on it. You're really not going to see anything visually. I don't get to physically be at camp because, it's closed. And it's a different time of year. I mean, Madden just came out, so at least we have Madden to play. But as far as when it comes to what we're supposed to talk about until September 13th, the day after my wedding, there's nothing. So we're gonna be really chillaxed. Maybe we'll throw a couple top 10s in there because we had a lot of fun with that. Fred didn't get to have fun with that, so we're gonna get him in the action. We have some I gotta talk here. We have news around the league that pertain to the NFC North. We'll talk about that. We have some camp battles that could be happening on the offensive line. Some potential people that could be joining the offensive line, ? And, just a lot of things that we could talk about, but make sure you guys just chat, chime in, talk about whatever you guys want to. Like in my case, what do you like to put on your fajita? I have fajitas tonight, so I want to know from you guys, what do you put on your fajita? I asked Nicole, I was like, hey, do you think there's some beans that we can have? And she's like, oh, I forgot to make beans. I love beans in my fajitas. But it's okay. We're going to have taco night in 3 days. So it's okay. Jacob, what's up, man? Hey, Janelle, how's it going?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. It's a lot better.
I don't know. Do I even need to be on here? Because I'm interested in the fajita talk.
I mean, I had one, so it was like 6:53. I didn't know if the ladies were still on over that on happy hour. I was like, maybe
Nope.
they're starting to close off the show, and I was like, maybe I have time to have one fajita, and I was like, all right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of chicken, some peppers, I put a little cheese. There was no beans, and then I sprinkled some hot sauce, Taco Bell hot sauce, and some sour cream, and I was like, damn, this is a fajita, and it was so good. It was so good.
I'm not really sure that everybody is interested in our fajita talk, though.
Oh, well, yeah, probably not. I was just letting
I
you know that
appreciate
was
it.
my fajita was. All right. But anyway, we already have a question. So Janelle would like to know what's up with EQ. And, here's the thing with EQ. He has a lot of expectation, I think, from Packer fans, obviously from the organization, from the guys that drafted him, and probably, the receivers coach who's kind of new. And then obviously you got Matt LaFleur. And I think there's a lot of expectations from 12 too, because he talks about him every time in his like pressers that he's always like, well, don't forget about EQ. Don't forget about EQ. This guy, I mean, you have to hold your restraint of frustration because this guy's coming off an injury. He had a foot injury. He's didn't play at all last year. It's one of those things where you have to kind of let it ease into it, let him really just see what he can do, fully healthy again. And I saw someone also, oh, what's up, Carlos? Hey, how's it going, man? Could he be in the slot? I mean, that's another thing too. Like, who will be the slot guy? That's the thing I've seen a lot of the beat writers talking about. They've seen Lazard in the slot. They've seen Devontae in the slot. Obviously, you've seen, EQ in the slot. There's going to be, I think this offense really shows you how multiple it can be. Matt LaFleur always stresses he wants to be multiple. He wants to be different. He wants to be giving different looks within different looks. It's like Inception, and it's a dream within another dream. It's all that kind of stuff built in one thing in an offensive scheme. And I think there's so much room for EQ to really flourish in this offense because everybody's all worried about, oh, is it going to be run, AJ Dillon, his big quads? No, man, it's going to be passing too. Aaron Rodgers loves to pass. So he's going to have to throw some balls here to not only Devontae Adams, but also guys like EQ. What do you think, Fred?
Man, you're just on fire right now.
I am, man. I just want to make sure
like my mic goes out and you're like, I'm just gonna take the whole show and run with it. It's incredible.
If it came to that, I would do it. I wouldn't like it.
I'm confident in it. I'm very confident in it. What I will say with EQ is here's two things. One, I think you say it, and it's been reiterated by all the people here at Game On Wisconsin, I think, and everyone else is starting to understand what we're doing, and it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a chaotic masterpiece, if you will, in what LaFleur is trying to assemble with different types of talent, different types of speed, size, ability, and position ability more than anything. And I think that's what's going to be so exciting about guys like Devontae and EQ and even Lazard, Swerve Irvin, Aaron Jones. Yes, you can look at them and say, that's an RB, that's a running back. No, we're cutting that. We're cutting positions, and we're just going to say, where do you fit in this play best, and how can we utilize you? And I think that's what LaFleur is going to do. And shout out to Maggie and Perry. I was watching their show. Great job as always. But something that I just I kind of enamored with was the idea of like having this possibility of anything and everything. And when Perry was talking about how excited she was for LaFleur's system and for the offense to be more run-based, it was interesting. And quickly in my head popped a question, and I didn't send it into him, but I'll ask you this: are we at a place as Packer fans and with this team where we are entering the season more excited about what LaFleur and this, like, not more excited, that's a wrong word, but are we entering the season more on the verge of this is Matt LaFleur's team, not Aaron Rodgers' team anymore? Because I think we're all very excited about what LaFleur is doing. And it's kind of like usually we start the season and it's always like Aaron Rodgers. But we're like seeing all these other pieces starting to make sense. And I feel like everyone is more excited about the LaFleur project.
I mean, it's weird. Hang on. First off, I want to say it is very hard to do a show when there's a Milwaukee Bucks game, a playoff game.
Come on,
Shout
get
out
it
to Cream City.
together.
I know, no. I'm not watching it. I'm just saying I want this was a tee up. All right, this is teeing it up as they call it in the business.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that is in this stream right now, watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you guys are. Thank you so much, man. I know you could be watching the game. Maybe you are watching the game and watching us at the same time.
Hey, throw the score up there if you're watching. Let me see what the score is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's halftime right now, but it's still half. But thank you so much. I mean, we really appreciate it. It's just Fred and I today. It's not Matt here with us. Like you said, he is buying a car. But going back to what you're saying, I think. Oh, and shout out.
Oh God,
I know. I'm like a squirrel. Squirrel. What's that movie? Up.
You're like Charlie.
Right? I'm like Charlie. Really?
You're acting like my 4-year-old. Which, hey, hold on. Well, you know what? We'll do it later. Never mind.
All right. Happy birthday to Christian Kirksey. I saw that it was his birthday today. I mean, we don't do birthdays around here, but maybe we should. So if you ever have a birthday you want us to shout out, we'll do it.
Well, you know what?
A little jingle for it.
You know what? That was a good segue because Mr. Charles' birthday is tomorrow. My youngest little man turns 4.
Hey.
And that's super exciting. And we're going to have balloons and piñatas and yippee, yay.
Man, you have both your boys like literally in, weeks of each other, like a week.
And 10 years.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously.
Kind of a difference.
Well, I'm saying like you got one birthday, then you got another one that you're basically like.
Yeah, dude, it really sucks. You know what? It sucks because you do like back to school shopping and then you do birthday and then you do another birthday and then you like blink twice and it's Christmas and you're like, dude,
where's my money?
I got no money left, dude. Like, and it's always like, I'm like the kind of guy that like, I'll spend 11 and a half months of the year talking about like, oh, I'm not getting him anything. He doesn't, you know what? We'll get him a t-shirt and he'll be good with it. And then all of a sudden their birthday starts coming and I'm like shaking out like third and second and fourth mortgages on my house to buy him a gift. Cause I just like, I like buying that stuff for him. But
well, that just makes you a good dad.
It is, but ultimately, when it comes to like Charlie, like you can literally buy him a box and he's going to be like jacked about it for like a month straight. That's easy. When you have a 14-year-old, that one's a little bit more difficult because there's like this weird, like set expectations of how it should go. But that's a whole nother story.
All right. So let's
go back to what I was saying. Go back to what I was saying though. Like, do you think that we as a fandom are moving on almost like we're kind of subconsciously like preparing ourselves for the breakup and we're more intrigued and excited about the future with LaFleur than we are the future with Rodgers.
Coach Psalm, we'll get to your question after this. I saw it. I put it up. We'll get to it. Don't worry.
Coach Psalm?
Yeah, Nick Psalm's in here.
That's my man, dude.
Mad respect.
That's my guy.
Coach, did you see my special teams skills as a coach last year for the 7th grade team? It was
come on.
Phenomenal.
Right. He doesn't know. He doesn't want to.
Yeah. Look, networking. All right. Anyway, I do actually see it. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, unless Rodgers goes and throws like 40 TDs and like 3 interceptions and is in the running for an MVP, I think everybody's just like, or not everybody, not fans, but like I think the team's kind of like, well, let's just start really hoping that Jordan Love can really, produce and start looking good in camp because this whole like scheme, this whole roster is starting to be built for Jordan, not really built for Aaron. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be very wrong. Maybe this is what they were always trying to do for Aaron to make it less, stressful for him, give him all the things that he needs on the run game. Maybe we throw less. He's getting up there in age. Why does he need to throw 60 times like Matt Stafford and Drew Brees? So maybe that was what, Gutekunst was thinking. But at the same time, we're not idiots. You just drafted a guy in the first round and you traded up for him. You're clearly getting ready for him in like a couple years if in fact he is ready and if he is showing stuff in camp. But this year is one of those anomalies where you're not seeing anything from him in camp because he's not going up against other talent. He's not going up against, live, game reps. So, I mean, to answer your question, I really do think that this is like that setup-ish kind of thing. Cause like, I know the PR statement is we are only about championships here at Green Bay. We are nothing but Let's get a championship, bring that Super Bowl trophy back to where it's originally from. I get that. But at the same time, let's be real too. If things don't go wrong, if they don't go right, you have a backup plan, and that's called Jordan Love. You have AJ Dillon. You have all these different pieces of what you are wanting to do. If it's Josiah DeGuara, if it's Jay Sternberger, if it's, EQ and MVS and all these guys that Gutekunst has really drafted, I don't know if it's for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's just these guys that he saw in a vision for Matt LaFleur. Now, obviously, EQ and MVS were there before Matt LaFleur got there. But here's the thing. Whatever happens in this season, I think Packer fans have to just realize, look, Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback, but if things go wrong, there is that plan B option.
I guess, let's move on to something else before we get out of control.
All right, let's go back to coaches thing then real quick. Position battle, intriguing position battles. Linebacker, wide receiver 2 and 3, and tight end. What is your most intriguing one out of those 3?
They're all intriguing. You could make a case for any one of them. Shout out to Christian Kirksey, like you said, birthday. Good news coming in, like with Ty Summers looking really good in camp. I've been a big fan of his. I think he could kind of fill a need. So I think there's a good healthy battle there. You go at wide receiver. I don't see as much of a fire necessarily for another player. I think we have some talent. Obviously, yeah, guys, if we would have gotten, Justin Jefferson or KJ Hamler or someone like that, that's a big deal. This would be a different ball game. But I do like the talent we have with the system we're about to run. So I'm going to jump on the tight end train real quick. And I actually am really excited, not necessarily to see who wins the battles, but how this all kind of works out, because I think you're going to have, obviously, your Sternberger, who I think is going to play somewhat of a Jermichael Finley type role, move him back in the backfield, move him over, kind of be a little bit of a mismatch. I've talked a few times now about DeGuara, who I am so jacked about. And I think when you talk about moving a player around, that's the guy that will absolutely cause fits. Whether you're putting him in at an H-back, running back, fullback, tight end, on the outside, who the heck knows where you're going to put him? You can put him at freaking quarterback. We can run the Wildcat. And then when you go past that, like Big Bob Tonyan, I know that it's like, it's kind of a folk hero type thing. And I think everyone's kind of like, well, we've moved past that, but I'm not past Big Bob Tonyan yet. And here's why. 2 reasons. One, for 2 years consecutively now, he's worked out in the offseason with George Kittle. And George Kittle is arguably my favorite player in the NFL right now, because dude's just a madman. And I know you, Coach Salm, can agree with that. And secondly, when you look historically at when tight ends have broken onto the scene, whether it's a Kelsey, a Kittle, and even an Ertz, who was a little later, these guys take 3-4 years. That is a prototypical thing with tight ends, is rarely do they walk into the NFL and succeed. So Big Bob, being on his timeline where he is right now, is poised to make a big leap. Working with Kittle, I like that. So I'm loving that three-headed combo. Three-headed monster, Sanjay, not a one-eyed monster, but a three-headed monster. I was going to throw that in there. So that's what I'm most excited about. I'm really jacked about the tight ends. Thank you, Coach Salm, for the question. Oh, yeah, you can answer it too, I guess.
I'll be real quick. I think it's inside linebacker. We don't know what it is. Christian Kirksey sounds great. Great leader already, as far as like making his voice heard in the locker room and also out in the public eye. Happy birthday to you. If you're watching the show, if you'd like to come on the show, come on the show. Yeah, right. And I think that's a great story, but we don't know until he actually goes and hits somebody, or if he covers someone and gets a deflection. So right now, all we got is Mr. Oren Burks, a 3rd round pick, Mr. Ty Summers, a 7th round pick, and Curtis Bolton, and I think there's like one other guy, and I always forget his name. And you can poo-poo me all you want, but I'm pretty sure, I think it's like
poo-poo.
Greg Roberts, Chris Barnes. I don't even know these guys. Like I get to like 4 guys deep, and that's as far
I
as
mean,
I
that's
go.
when you're really, I mean, realistically, we're at like, it's Kirksey, it's Burks, it's Summers, it's Bolton, and anything after that, I don't know if it's a genuine threat for the position.
Kamal Martin.
Oh yeah,
has been impressing. I saw Jamal Martin, and I'm like, wait, I think you meant Kamal. Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Yes, Kamal Martin did as well, and I have actually watched and heard things about him. So
you know what? Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that we totally biffed on that one because he's actually had a lot of good things being said about him.
But I mean, inside linebacker is really just the focal point of what was the issue in that San Francisco 49er game. Yeah, the D-line gave up first penetration on that, on any run play, but then at the same time, nothing was happening in the middle of that defense. And that's where the linebackers, and Fred's back, so I'm going to always rip on Blake Martinez, but Blake can't do it all, okay? And he can't be everywhere. And whoever his compadre was on the right was not there as well. So in the end, I think inside linebacker is probably the higher thing, because wide receiver, I think it's like, okay, whatever. We know what we have there. Is it great? I don't know. Could we use another guy? Probably. But tight end, I know what we have there. We actually have a lot of tight ends. And, and I'm with you on that one, Fred. Bob Tonyan, I actually think may shock some people. But inside linebacker, I still have a big question mark. So thanks for the question, Nick. I think it definitely needs to be seen. I wish we had preseason games to really see what we have, but it's not going to come until, September 13th against Captain Kirk. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So, I kind of like this one. Let's just get a little fun with it.
Let's just do questions.
Yeah, let's just do questions for a little bit.
But
we will get to the things that we wanted to talk to first. All right.
Okay.
Gosh, we got a show to run here.
Can I have a quick question though? Why does Matt in this picture, like, was he like the lead singer of Muse or something?
I do. It's a picture that he has not changed
clearly
forever. Matt, now we get to throw everything at you when you're not here.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I mean that Adidas, it's like a track jacket.
It's the track set, and then he's got the Adidas logo.
Yeah, I think he probably is wearing the pants too, along with the glass. I mean, he's probably inside a building right now, doing that picture. Like it's probably like the public library actually, and he took a selfie with his laptop camera, and then he was like, "This is a badass picture."
Oh, that you got in depth on that.
I don't know. I mean, I think I see a vehicle in the background there. All right, so. If you had to poach any player from any team to add on this roster, who would you take? Holy crap. I feel like...
Whoa. Settle down, Aaron. Jeez Louise.
I need some time.
Hey,
man.
How about... Hey, can we steal it from Perry and Maggie? I believe Aaron asked if you could steal one player from each NFC North team.
But I did want to steal someone from the AFC, though.
Okay, fine. Then what do you got?
No. I mean, let's just start with the NFC North. How about that?
No. I want to know. Now I want to know.
What?
I want to know who you would take. If you could take any player in the entire NFL to bring down the Packers' current roster, who are you taking? Oh my God. That's it. That makes more sense than anything I've ever seen in my life.
The Apple store. So what were you just chilling in there?
Yeah.
Like, you had your glasses on in the Apple store? Is that really what was happening?
Dude.
All right. Anyway.
Was that before or after you played Wonderwall and Oasis? Fucking
as he has Wonderwall tattooed on his arm.
I know, right?
Okay, so NFL, I need a minute. I see the Aaron Donald throw out there, and I think Donald's a hard one. It's a top 3 choice because he's just such a disruptive force in the NFL.
And he would fit. Can you imagine him against him and Kenny Clark side by side?
Yeah, but you know what though? I'm gonna have to go with Bobby Wagner. I think I know that we don't
lame.
No, give me a minute here. I'm not Tony Dungy, all right? I'm not Did you see that tweet? Like about him, like basically giving him a MVP vote when Rodgers won it in 2014, and
Just
then
to be Tony Dungy.
Tony Dunn. Anyway.
Okay, okay,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So Bobby Wagner, just based on the Packers now, okay, I'm not talking about like I think you have a guy in the front, you have Kenny Clark, you have some, some pieces in the back end with Amos and Savage and King and Alexander. I think you're really missing that really centerpiece, and that's that captain of the defense, and that is the middle linebacker. I don't know what Kirksey is. He's coming off injury. He's coming off of basically like a 60, 70 tackle year. I mean, like he dropped off after his 100 tackle year. So like, I'm wondering what we're going to see out of him. But if I had Bobby Wagner there to really just solidify that run game, solidify just everything that's happening on a play-to-play basis. I mean, if there's a reason that the success of Seattle has been happening, there's one constant, and it's him. That's why there's no Cam Chancellor. There's no Richard Sherman. There's no.
All right. We got it. We got it.
What? I mean,
we got it. We got it.
Well, who's your NFL guy, Mister? I got it.
Okay, well, here's my thing with Bobby Wagner. He's 30, so you're like getting a pretty old dude.
Yeah, I wasn't building a team. She asked if I could take a player right now. He's in his prime, right? Maybe not. Maybe
he's been in his prime for like 5 years.
Like if the prime. No,
you're right. You're right. I mean, he would come in and completely change that defense. Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna go with who I was talking about before, and George Kittle, because I think that. I mean, could you? Okay, relax, settle down. Imagine
lame. You want really, WWE superstar?
You think that would not be incredible?
Aaron Rodgers has to throw him the ball, though. That's the problem. If the problem is that he needs the ball thrown to him. Okay, and that's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't throw the ball to his tight ends right now.
Jordan Love would. What's the quarterback's best friend? Tight end.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're taking a player that doesn't need to be like obviously Aaron Donald, for instance, like he changes the game just by his presence.
I understand what you're saying, and same with Bobby Wagner to a degree. Bobby Wagner.
I don't even know what Bobby Wagner does, to be honest. I feel like he needs to be around the ball a lot, which he typically is. But go on with your Kittle. I'll let you finish.
That's it. I just think he's so electric, and he's so dynamic, and he's so versatile, and he's so good at every single thing he does. He's a blocker, a catcher, a runner. I mean, he's just. I got a huge man crush on him, and that's just the bottom line.
I would love to have him. I mean, it would be awesome.
I think you have Devontae Adams, George Kittle, Sternberger, DeGuara, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, AJ Dill. I mean, come at me, dude. Like you look at our offense. You look at our offense in a totally different ball game. You throw a George Kittle on there, and he's 26. So I think like that. If we're talking about someone that you're gonna keep long term, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And we've been fiending for that like tight end since Jay Finn's. And
I know that's the problem.
How cool would it be to like have a George Kittle where you're like, we're locked and loaded.
That's why I'm really, I've been all in on Jace. I've been all in on him all year. I really hope he pans out. Too.
And I think he's going to have a plus year, but it's definitely not going to be like, he's going to be a year 3 guy where he just like dominates.
What do you mean? What do you mean Sanjay's on crazy pills? I didn't say he had an upper tier tight end. Get out of here. I know he had garbage. I'm not an idiot. I know what he's had.
Look how crazy you are when you talk to the camera.
Well, I mean, look at that. He hasn't had. I mean, I see what he was saying. He was saying that it makes sense why you picked George Kittle to have that. I get that, Tim, but I'm just saying if he threw him the ball, I mean, he gives 15 to 17 targets a game to Devontae Adams. There's a reason behind that because he only looks that way. So until he shows me otherwise, George Kittle could be, Lance Kendricks for all I care.
Oh my gosh. You get so mad. It's so cute.
Okay, but
let's just move on. Come on. All right. Was Jordan Love, was the Jordan Love pick more of a hedge bet against little film from 2020 college football season due to COVID-19 cancellations? It's harder to draft a quarterback next year. So what he's saying is, did we draft him a year early in anticipation for what he could be and knowing that this season was going to be shot? Was that the question here?
Yeah, but who's the quarterbacks next year?
Well, Trevor Lawrence.
Is Trevor Lawrence next year?
Yeah, he'll be out this year.
Well, that's a pretty no-brainer. But
for sure. No, and I think I don't. I mean, I don't know if any of us really could have predicted per se what the situation was going to entail and how this was all going to pan out, and seasons could be canceled, couldn't be canceled. I mean, when this all first started, we all had this like, thought process. It was going to last into maybe like the end of the summer. That being said, I still think COVID or no COVID, I think taking Jordan Love was 100% pre-notion decision based on the future of the Packers and where Aaron Rodgers is going to be in 3 years. And that is older, in a contract position where he can go. And ultimately, this team, I think, and this goes back to what I asked earlier, is in the direction of Matt LaFleur, not in the direction of Aaron Rodgers anymore.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing, though, too. Where the Packers primarily draft every season in that lower 20, definitely bottom 15, you're never going to get a Trevor Lawrence. So what you're seeing with this league and the type of quarterback that's really succeeding is that very dual threat, can run, really make plays out of the pocket. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson. I'm saying Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson,
Carson Wentz, Dak
exactly.
Prescott,
that can really, I mean, that's basically, young Rodgers, right? And I think that's what Matt LaFleur was trying to maybe get out of, Marcus Mariota, but it really didn't pan out because he doesn't have the arm and he couldn't stay healthy. I think there was something that they see in Jordan Love in that aspect. Now, is he really mobile? No, he doesn't really run a lot, but he has the capability to roll out, get out of the pocket, make some plays with his feet. I think there was something there that they were like, look, I think it's not too much draft capital in the sense of trying to get a guy that we do really like. Maybe they love him. I don't know. But if it doesn't work, is there a chance where, you're going to see some really bad years, like 2 years of bottom 10 of the league, and then you're going to have that draft pick? I would hate to see that as a Packer fan, but you have to trust the powers that be that the scouting that they've done with the limited time that they've had with these players, that they liked him enough where, look, I think we still have 3 good years with Rodgers. I mean, realistically, probably 2, but you can really kind of give him 3 years to develop and then give him that torch and see what happens. Because you're going to have to roll with Jordan Love for at least, a year or 2, right? You can't just give up on him after a rookie year. So you got to give him at least 2 years. So I think there's something that they love in him. I don't know what the root cause is. We'll never know unless Brian Gutekunst is just like, hey, let's grab a beer and let's just all talk about why I made all these decisions, which won't happen. But we'll see. I don't know.
Well, ultimately, you have Jordan Love for 5 years. That's the whole part of it.
Right.
Ultimately, you do. Now, whether or not that decides to be a dumpster fire after year 2 or 3, and you realize, holy crap, this guy is terrible, then you start to maneuver and you start to maybe play some head games with some different teams and, maybe send out some false information regarding Jordan Love so that you can try and, salvage a 3rd or 4th round pick out of it.
We'll take our next question. Brianna, I hope everything's going well.
Yep.
What position would hurt us most this year if there were injuries
outside of 12?
Quarterback? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Take 12, so that's obvious. Yeah.
I'm going to say, honestly, I'm going to say
I bet I know where you're going to go. Where?
Cornerback.
Okay.
I mean, only because I know there's been a lot. I know check out Pulse of the Pack, Jason Perrone, Jacob Westendorf. They do a great job. They were just talking about this on one of their shows, and cornerback is a really big, I think there's a lot of guys, but I think there's a lot of unproven guys. I mean, we're hoping that Josh Jackson takes a really big step, hopefully, because the draft capital is there at a 2nd round pick. But Kevin King's done after this year. Yeah. He's obviously going to try to play for a contract. Jair Alexander, we know he's a stud, but he's really primarily good in the slot. I mean, he can play on the outside. He can. He's shown it. But if one of those guys goes down, you're looking at Chandon Sullivan. You're looking at Kadar Holman. You're looking at hopefully Josh Jackson if he can really step up. But and then whatever else is on the bottom. And that can be really problematic in the NFC because you have really good wide receiving cores in the NFC. I mean, let's just move on to the playoffs, and you look at Dallas, you look at New Orleans, you look at Atlanta, you look at LA, you look at, Minnesota, whatever. I mean, maybe not Minnesota, but whatever teams are in the NFC, I mean, San Francisco, there's a lot of teams that just have good receivers and good height, good speed. I worry about that sometimes. So I'm going to say cornerback. What about you?
Well, as the resident offensive line coach,
I know I left that one for
apparently.
you. I left that one for you.
No, and you guys all bring up some really good points. Carlos with right tackle after Wagner, no depth. LT. It's got to be offensive line. You have a couple positions where I think you're okay with. Luckily you have a guy like Elton Jenkins who can play a couple different positions. And I think it'll be very interesting to see where those 3 young guys come that we drafted this year. I talk about them a lot. The big issue, though, is that right tackle spot, and even you could go with left tackle and Bakhtiari. I mean, tackle in general, I'm just going to go with, either one of them go down, or Bakhtiari especially, you're putting in a rookie, or you're going to put in some rough and tumble talent that I don't know if it's really been that great for that long. So I'm a little concerned at that position. I know there was the rumblings of Riley Reef today. There was a possibilities of Minnesota getting rid of him. Bukowski posted that was, obviously a possibility. He could come to Green Bay. He knows some of the blocking scheme and stuff like that. Iowa big boy, I love the Big Ten. I love Big Ten big boys. You get an Iowa guy, you get a Wisconsin guy, you usually got something going on. So,
what about Valdir? What Valdir is like? Is he just a forgotten man?
I feel like he was he was a Band-Aid guy. Like, he was a great option to kind of come in.
He did well in that Seahawks game.
He did, and I do think that there's potential there. But I think now, that was a last year Band-Aid, and I think you have some younger talent that you could potentially toss in there if things were to get a little frisky.
Well, there you have it. All right, so let's see here, and let's just get this over with. And we're getting a lot of questions, and I love it. Thank you so much for chiming in with us. We love it. We want to keep talking to you guys. You guys are what this show is. So, Yannick Ngakoue traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Minnesota Vikings for basically a 2nd-round pick, and I think some other stuff in there too, like a 5th that can turn into a 3rd or something like that. And shakes up some things, obviously, because they just lost Everson Griffin to the Cowboys. They have Danielle Hunter, who's obviously, it's obviously a worry for the Packers all the time, but typically Bach can handle him. But, it gets to a point where you start saying, okay, well, now you got the other side now you got to worry about with Yannick Ngakoue, because he's, a developing young player that absolutely was killing it in Jacksonville, really had some big numbers, seems to have found his way in the NFL and is just looking for that big contract. And what better way than to get traded to a new team, get that new fresh look, get that, that new vibe to a team that can make the playoffs not easily, but can make the playoffs, better than what the Jaguars were at. And that's just more motivation for him, right? To get that bigger paycheck, be a Viking for life kind of thing, and then just go kill Aaron Rodgers kind of mentality, right? So that is a huge move in the NFC North that obviously shook some waves in the last 24 hours here. So what is your thoughts on Yannick Ngakoue to the Vikings?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. No, that's sucks. I mean, I literally just got done talking about how the offensive line is a little shaky on some sides. I mean, that's 2 top-tier talent rushers coming in, ready to attack. And then you look at, Chicago as well. Tons of talent coming on the outside, and Detroit has a great front 7 as well. I mean, we've got we talk about our defensive front and how great they are. I mean, the NFC North has some serious top edge rushers, with Pickle did with some really good defensive tackles in Akeem Hicks and, Kenny Clark and things like that. So, I mean, it's rough. It's going to be hard. And NFC North, man, is continues every year to be a scary division. And I enter every single season going, I think every team could win 10 games if they just play through their defense.
Yeah, the NFC North is always getting better. I felt like there was a pretty big lull there where it was like really just two heads and maybe just us. And then now it's just really booming up. The Bears find a way to screw up things and then they mess up their opportunities. So they'll always be the Bears. But this is a really funny question for Maggie. What's the scariest if you're a quarterback? Literally a lion, a bear, or a Viking? What would you say?
Who's my quarterback?
Oh,
that makes a big difference. I'm just saying, because if I got
you're right.
If I got Lamar Jackson, I can probably get away from a few of those options. If I'm going Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I think, my God, what an intense question.
I'm just gonna go. I would say a lion, man. Like they roar. That's already scary enough. I know a bear can growl, but like a lion is pretty like fast too. It's not like
bears can run like 40 miles per hour. When
they can climb trees, but you're not on a tree when you're in a football field. So I mean, I'm sticking with the Lions here. I mean, I don't think there's enough love given to the Detroit Lions in the NFL. So this is the one time I might give them some love and be scared of a lion, literally.
Yeah, I mean, Vikings, like they don't even scare themselves in the mirror. So I would have to say that's so tough because honestly, either one is going to destroy your face. You're going to die. So I guess it comes down to how do you want to die? Do you want to like get your face ripped off by a lion eating it? Or do you want to just get punched by a bear and completely knocked out and killed? I think I'm going to go bear.
I think it's funny that neither of us have even considered the Vikings.
Because nobody's afraid of Vikings.
Yeah, they just look stupid.
Yeah,
they braided their hair. They braid their hair in like
what is
Goldilocks.
I'm not. Come on.
All right, so that poses the new question: who is the most like scary duo? Obviously, we're biased. You know, we're the NFC North. We have the Packers. We love the Smith Bros. But if you're from the outside looking in, let's just say you're not a Packer fan. Let's say you're just a Browns fan. Like Mark Loney, what would you do or what would you say if you were looking at the NFC North and saying which would be their scariest duo?
Man, I don't know. Are we not even going to like throw in?
I mean, Lions have
Trey Flowers
and is that it now?
Yeah,
they lost the other guy to the
yeah, so we'll go with
Ziggy Ansah. They lost Ziggy Ansah,
yeah,
so I don't think they have him.
I think I'm gonna go Pack, man. I think you're talking about two guys in their prime and who last year destroyed it, absolutely just killed everybody. I mean, Khalil Mack is obviously super dangerous, and Quinn can be too, but they're also very spotty. They're not consistent enough for me. Danielle Hunter, I think, is a scary threat, and he always seems to like get on our bad side once, when we play him. And Yannick, I don't know. I guess I haven't watched enough film of him to really see, his threat. But I think when you pair him up on that Viking defense, I think he can be poised. It depends if either he's gonna, I don't know, he'll be good. It's gonna. I gotta go Smith Bros. They just were so good.
From an entertainment point of view.
Okay. Shocking.
Like Hunter, like I know that he kind of was doing some things with Everson Griffin where they're like kicking the door down and then
his name is Danielle.
Danielle Hunter. That's his
Danielle.
Oh, okay.
Call him Danielle.
And Khalil Mack is always like he's really quiet, he's badass, but he's just quiet. He's like, you know what? He's like the Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. That's a sad story. But Packers, look at this. When you see the Smith Bros, like it's an entertainment. It's a show. When they get a sack, the fans just they just go crazy. Like if you're honestly from a different fan base and you were watching a Packer game, like a playoff Packer game, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you're watching the defense and you saw the sack celebrations that they do, it really gets you jacked up. And like the way that they do it, they're so ferocious on the edges. And it almost seems like when one's not doing it, the other is. And it's like there's no, and I get that. That's why we're calling it defensive duos. But like it seems like it's constant. I don't see the constant thing with Khalil Mack. because like he had that great game against the Packers in week 1, and then really he didn't. I mean, he was fine throughout the season, but it wasn't like amazing. Like, hey, we gave 2 first-round picks for you, bro, and you gave us more than 20 sacks. Like that's what I was expecting from him.
He's so spotty. He's like some games he just absolutely destroys, and I think he saves a little bit of that for the Packers. So we have this like tainted view of him being super good, but like consistently game in and game out. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to like a Clowney because Clowney's like literally every play he takes off except for like 3, but there's some games where you can just see him like something happened, someone pooped in his cereal, and he's going to destroy the entire game. Some games he comes and he's like, he's going to be there, but he's not going to destroy the game. So
I don't want anybody pooping in my cereal, man. That's disgusting.
Dude, I'm just saying, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed would you be if someone pooped in your cereal? 14? 15?
Well, actually, I don't know if I'd be pissed. I'd just be like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to clean it up.
I would probably get like an attempted murder charge.
Wow.
If someone pooped in my cereal,
what's the cereal though? I mean, if it's like Cheerios and you're just doing your cholesterol thing, you're like, well,
I mean, I don't think it really matters, does it?
It does.
Is it
it does. Like if it was like, peanut butter crunch or like, Reese's Cocoa Puffs. I
don't understand how you're trying to justify this right now. There would be a turd
I'm saying,
floating
I would
in
be
your cereal.
more pissed because like I was looking forward to that bowl of X, cereal, and if it was like my Cheerios, I'd be like, well, that was disgusting. Oh, I can't be swearing here, but that was disgusting. That was disgusting. But like, I guess I'll just throw this. I'd be really pissed if it was in my like Cookie Crisp or something.
Do people, I was going to say, do people like in our life, like in our age group, really eat cereal strictly for like the fiber and cholesterol? Or
yes!
like, are we still getting loose with like Cookie Crisp and Lucky Charms?
You should be looking at your health, man. You should be like worried about like, cholesterol, heart disease, all that kind of stuff. Like you should be worried about, I'm not saying that you have a problem. I'm saying like you should be thinking about that as we get older, because I'm thinking about it.
This all stems from a turd being in your cereal. Ladies and gentlemen. See, that's what I'm saying. Aaron, thank you. Let's just, you're saying that you would be okay with someone's turd in your cereal if
I'm not saying I'm
right type of
okay
cereal?
with it. I'm just saying like, dude, why did you poop in my cereal? And like, I don't know my pissed factor.
I can't believe you'd like be so
okay.
Like,
time on. Okay, but
it.
how about this? If it wasn't cereal and it was your favorite dinner meal, of course I'd be pissed. If someone poops in my lasagna or poops in my like, I don't know. Hey, check out Out and Out and get their mac and cheese down in Reed's, Cedarburg, Wisconsin. If someone did that in my mac and cheese, I'd be actually irate. But like if it was like, vegetables and like some really meal that I don't really like.
Okay, but you're still allowing someone to take a turd in your food and you're not mad about it. All I'm saying is, let me know what dish you're not digging at your wedding next weekend, and I'll drop a deuce in it, and you just be cool with it. Cool?
All right, the asparagus. You can poop in the asparagus.
This is what happens when you're not on the show, Matt.
This is what you get. This is 2020, Sanjay, okay? This is what you get. All right, next.
Well,
you brought this up. I thought you were talking about it. Wait, but I want to know about this.
Yeah, okay. So speaking of bathroom talk, please settle heated debate in my family. This is from Biana. Do the players pee their pants on the field?
You're the grandson of a player.
Well, I don't recall.
I think in certain situations they do. Like they now they go to like a tent. I think they do go into a tent.
My grandpa's never told me that, but now you see them go to a tent. I mean, you also have to remember like, a lot of them change their uniforms at halftime. Like they put on new pants, they put on a new jersey. Like that's part of just the gig of being in NFL. Whereas like when my grandpa played, I mean, you basically got 2 jerseys and that was it for the whole season. So like you took care of them, and you just washed them and you hope that it was good. He never told me he peed. I had one of his game jerseys and it had blood still on it. Like that's like 50 years ago. That's crazy. But when it comes to peeing, can't say he's ever said that he did. However, Ice Bowl, I might have peed my pants.
You're not a player. What?
Okay, well, I'm just saying if I was in the Ice Bowl, I would have maybe peed my pants to keep myself warm.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Hey, look at you repping the Bauer hat on a Bauer question. Bauer. All right. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you really need to pee, like, and you need to go, I mean, think about it. When they throw up, they just throw up right there on the field anyway. So I think the peeing thing, I think it's kind of just a natural thing, and they just kind of yeah. I'm pretty sure now they go into a tent, but I'm sure before that, like 10, 20 years ago, I'm sure it's just kind of like, yeah, just do it, man. Just got time for this. But
is this a Packer podcast or is this a potty pad?
Yeah, that's true. We got it. You're the one who said pooping in people's cereal, so this is all your fault.
All right, wrap it up, Tina.
Okay, all right. Well, what do we got? 50 minutes? Sorry, we got 10 minutes here. Do you want to do? You didn't get to take part in a top 10. Would you like to?
Yeah, throw me a couple top fives. I'll hit a couple top
All
fives.
right, so we'll do top 5. Hey, if you have one, we'll try to do a rapid fire on it. Throw them in the questions. We had some fun with this last week. I'm gonna throw one at you right now, Fred, because you know what? I like putting you on the spot. Boy, top.
Don't say top of cereals, man.
Top 5 Packer offensive linemen.
Oh,
I know.
All time,
bro.
Holy crap. Do I have to go in order? Or can I just list 5? Just list 5. You don't
have to do it in order. Never do it in order. That's fine. I mean, they're in 5. They're basically all ones.
Grandpa, of course. Forrest Gregg, top shelf person, and athlete, and all those good things. Jim Ringo. I'm gonna stay in the 60s here because he was a very, very underrated. I'm going to go Bakhtiari because I think he's been consistent and just dominant at left tackle for quite a while now. There's some really good guard combos there, like in the 90s and 2000s, like with Sitton and TJ Lang, like Carlos just said, Mike Wall,
Ross Verba.
Yeah, like there's some really good talent there.
You're not going to put the big machine. Just kidding. Whatever his name was. Our big bust.
The big hype.
Yeah, first off, Carlos, have you ever heard of the 60s? I mean, your list is very 90s, or sorry, very 2000y and late 90s.
I'm gonna throw in. Oh, man, I would say Josh Sitton just because I really do. I like his style.
Josh Sitton.
I like his toughness and he was just consistent. I like consistency. That's like my number one thing with
problems in that locker room, though.
No, he didn't. That was an excuse. That was an excuse to get out.
I got truth on that, bro.
Oh, well, you know who else caused a lot of trouble? Eddie Lacy.
What? What? He's gonna like to eat?
No, man. He used to get wasted.
Oh yeah, that I heard about that too. I don't like touching the offensive line. I'm not the resident offensive lineman here, so I don't feel comfortable giving my.
Someone's gonna punch me because I didn't even say Jerry Kramer.
Jerry Kramer.
Let me take Sitton's out, Kramer's in. I'm sorry, JK. My goodness.
Yeah, dude.
So, it's basically 4 from the 60s. I mean, you can't.
Literally that whole line.
Forrest Gregg and Ringo and
you my grandpa. Dave Robinson.
That's D-line, bud.
Oh, that's D-line. Yeah, sorry. This is why I'm not an offensive line.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah, I mean those guys they're so good. I mean, and you could even throw in a couple of Skronsky, and I mean those lines were incredible.
All right, I don't see anybody's top 5s in here, so I'm gonna throw another.
Come on, bring it on.
Yeah, hey people, we got 6 minutes here, so you got to throw it in quick now. All right. So top 5
My
cereals.
wife says all the time.
Top 5 cereals.
Top 5 cereals?
Yeah.
I don't really eat cereal. I don't.
Are you
I
like
just
the Grinch?
no, I don't. Like, okay, first of all, I get up super early for work. I don't have time for cereal, and I'm
You
not
pour a thing in a bowl and you pour some milk.
yeah, but I'm not well. Okay, like
Not
I get up.
making an egg sandwich.
I get up super early. Like I don't have time to like. I'm not gonna like sit there. Like I usually roll out of bed and I go right to work. And I'm not a huge breakfast person, and if I am, I'm more of like
it's the most important meal of the day. No wonder you're so crappy sometimes.
dude. You eat Cookie Crisp.
I don't even eat cereal.
You're okay if someone poops in your cereal, so shut up.
Wow.
That was a sad face, bud.
It was because I'm just saying I don't think it's a good thing that people are pooping in your cereal. I'm just saying anyway, top 5 jerseys people have bought but regretted later. Oh my god. Can I show my closet?
Well, who do you
Martellus Bennett.
Ooh. Antonio Brown.
I don't have an Antonio Brown.
That would be a pretty rough one. I would
Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles is a rough one.
Ray Rice. I bought a Ray Rice jersey.
Of course you did.
Time out. There's a story behind it. First off, when you buy the Chinese jerseys, if you buy the Chinese jerseys, you're like, oh, I'm going to buy like 20 of them for $20 each. You're like, oh, this is great. And I was in that phase and he was killing it in fantasy and he won me a lot of leagues.
Yeah, he was good.
Good. I bought it and then bam, he had to hit his wife. And I'm like, dang, that's really weird. I can't wear that jersey anymore.
You could probably throw in like maybe Mike Vick at a certain part of time. Colin Kaepernick, I'm sure would strike a chord with a few people. Who else killed people?
I have a Des Bryant jersey.
Like, how old are you? Like, that's like what 10-year-old kids do. Like, I told Ethan the other day, I said, Ethan, you're such an anomaly because you're a young kid who is just so you're so dedicated to the Packers. Like he never grew up liking other teams or liking Odell or liking the fun, cool things. Like every kid in America bought a Seahawks jersey when they put that neon green and Russell Wilson was there. You probably bought one, but you did, didn't you?
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
I
do not like.
Go in your closet right now. You bring it out, Sanjay.
I really don't have. I have a Colin Kaepernick one.
Ooh, Aaron Hernandez.
Oh,
that's really rough, dude.
What a murder!
Brianna just killed it.
I don't have any other one. I mean, yeah. Anyway, we gotta close up the show.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy your new car, Matt.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the car, Matt. This is what happens when you go off the show. We have to do a bunch of questions without you. Thank you so much for joining us for our hour of fun. We really do this for you guys. So thank you so much. Check us out again next week. We may have a surprise for you next week. So please stay tuned to social media. Please stay tuned to everything that you see on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and
talk about a jersey you'd regret buying.
Yeah, talk about a jersey you'd regret buying. I don't know why you'd buy this jersey in the first place. But actually, that's kind of mean because
we just completely undersold the possibility of our guest. A terrible marketing scheme. You're not going to want to tune in.
You know where to follow us. We're the Freezer Podcast. Follow us at Podcast Freezer on Twitter. Follow us at the Sweep Studios because that's where you're going to see all of our videos, all of our teaser trailers that this guy does. That way, follow Fred at his really long Twitter. I always get the Roman numerals wrong. XXII. Fred F. Thurston. Follow me at Sanjay X Murthy. Follow Matt at Matt X Jensen. You know what to do. Follow us at Game On Wisconsin. Check out all the shows that we have. You have Happy Hour right before us. You have Lombardi's Bar right after us on Wednesdays. And, we also stay tuned too. We will be moving to our Tuesday slot coming soon here. So make sure you guys get your schedules rearranged. I know it might make some problems for some of you, but you got to make us a priority on Tuesday nights.
It's going to get real serious once Tuesday night comes in. That's going to be locked and loaded. No poop talk, all pack talk, baby.
With that being said, I'm Sanjay.
I'm Fred.
Go Pack Go.
Hey!